Hello, everybody. Are we live now? This is fantastic. Welcome to my corner, the Paq-Man's corner. First time I do anything like this. Let's see how it works because I am planning to do that once in a while. Uh, this is like a conversation, in the middle of nothing, with some ideas, new music. We are developing this, so this is a work in progress, brought to you by COVID-19 and all of those look at home, look at home friends, fans, and people that love music and life. Today we are talking about great pianists, and in order to talk about great pianists, mainly about great pianists, you need another young and great pianist to talk with. It's a pianist, Alex Brown. Incredible. Alex have been with us with my elastic quintet. We call it elastic quintet, but because it can be a quintet, a trio, a duo, a big band. It depends on how much money we have available. So we are talking about Alex. Alex, are you there, right?
I am, yes.
Very good.
Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome to our first. You are like an experimental little animal,
Like a guinea pig.
Like a guinea, like a guinea pig. And we never did this before, but let's have some fun. Let's improvise. We have been making a living or something like that by improvising. So here we don't know what's going to happen. And I have a terrible memory. How did you end up here? I remember that was Oscar Estañaro who mentioned you. You know?
Yeah.
I remember. Always I say that I have been very lucky for great pianists. I have played with so many great pianists like Chucho and Bebo Valdez, Hilton Ruiz and Jorge Dalto, and well, so many Michel Camilo. And so many other wonderful, Emiliano Salvador. And what I remember is that the pianist that we had at that time was a fantastic pianist by the name of Alon Yafnai. He was planning to go, he made his decision to go back to Israel. He's from there. And I was a little worried because I need always I need what you call an all-terrain pianist. And that is not easy to find. You can find a good jazz player who cannot play some classical stuff, or somebody who can read very well but cannot improvise. And I really don't know what to do. And Oscar Estañaro hear me and say, I know a guy that can do all that. Say, oh, yeah, his name is Alex Brown.
He was lying.
Brown. Yeah. He said, Alex Brown. I say, yeah, well, what about him? He said, he's 18 years old. I say, oh, God, give me a break. 18 years old and he's going to play all this stuff. Forget about it. Please give me a chance. I remember you were playing someplace with the trio, with Mark Walker, right?
Yeah. So I had just met Oscar. I was in my sophomore year of college at New England Conservatory, and Oscar was directing the for lack of a better term, Latin jazz ensemble. And he invited me to come to DC to do a trio, just a little gig at a bar with him and Mark that was part of the DC Jazz Fest. And he told me, then he told me you were coming. And I was scared shitless because you were a hero of mine. I'd been listening to your music. So much. And I was so nervous when I found out you were coming. And plus I was like, I really loved all that music, but I had never played any Brazilian music before, really, other than like some basic Jobim standards. And here Oscar's like, oh, we have to play this and this. And I was
kidding.
Yeah, I was sure you wouldn't like what you heard.
No, I love it. I remember that I went to a club. Now I remember that it was in Washington in that festival that Charlie Fishman, our very dear Charlie Fishman, organized there. I think the name of the festival was the Duke Ellington Jazz Festival, right?
That's right. That was what it was originally called. Yeah.
Yeah, the Duke Ellington Jazz Festival, and then I was playing in the festival. I play there very often because Charlie is a personal friend, and Oscar was playing with me in the festival also, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Your whole
And
quintet
then
was playing, I think.
the quintet was playing there, and Oscar invited me to come to this club. I don't remember what the name of the club or anything. It's a Bohemian.
It was
Caverns.
it was
the
actually
Bohemian.
it was actually a place called Bossa in Adams Morgan.
Bossa, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then I went there and asked for a beer for the change. And, and I really enjoyed very much what we had to play. You play some of the Brazilian standards there.
Yeah.
Even I remember you played Flor de Lis.
Yes.
I was very impressed. And I remember that after the first set, Oscar came to the bar where I was, and he said, "I told you." He didn't ask me what did I think about it. He just went there and I told you, okay? I think you are right. How old is him? No, he's not 18. Yeah. He's 18 years old. And that happened to be 30 years old, right? I mean, 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. Time flies. Well, I don't know if you remember the email that you sent me after that, and if I'm allowed to repeat it on air or not.
Yeah. Go for it.
But no, I remember. So you asked me for my contact information, so I gave you my card, and then I didn't hear from you for a couple of months, maybe 3 months. So I was sure that you're never going to call me, and out of the blue, I get this email from you, and you're asking me all these questions, like, that makes sense for you to ask for a new pianist that you're going to be working with, like, what's your experience playing Cuban music? Like, how much classical music do you play? Like, all these kinds of normal questions like that. And then all of a sudden I'm just reading, and then it says, are you able to ingest a large amounts of black beans without farting?
Did I ask that? That means like ingesting an enormous amount of whiskey without getting drunk or something, right? No, I don't remember that, but it's something that I would say something like that.
I still have it, the email. So
when it's a 13-year-old email. That's a very old one.
It is.
We have been traveling and recording and doing a lot of things together. Huh? Different thing.
It's been so amazing. I thank you for everything, because it's just been such an honor and a privilege to get to work with you for this long, and I've learned so much. To be honest, I was probably not ready to be playing with you when I started, so it was such a good learning experience for me, and I still have so much to learn,
Well, I will tell you something. In many occasions, it's better to have somebody ready to learn than ready to play. You say, well, I don't know this, but I want to learn. And first of all, you have to have the talent, the disposition to learn. Some people don't have the ability or the interest, and then nothing. Always I say that you don't have to be Austrian to play Mozart. You don't have to be Cuban to play Cuban music or Brazilian music or whatever. If you David Fink, he always say, man, they are the same 12 tones. Mozart used the same 12 tones that I use, only that maybe he used it in a better way than I use it, but it's the same 12 tones. So if you have the desire to learn it and you dedicate your life to that, and that is what it's all about. Probably tell us what was your beginning. How did you start? Was the violin your first instrument or the piano?
I started on piano when I was 6, taking classical lessons. I started playing violin when I was 8. So, yeah. And then I started learning jazz in middle school. I joined the jazz band. It was just like an after-school activity. And I remember seeing all these chords chord changes, and I had no idea what they meant. And I didn't like seeing them and not knowing what to do. So I was like, I asked my parents if I could take lessons to learn how to to read those.
There is a point that is interesting. I never noticed that, but remember our friend Jacques Boyal, right? This is friend. He's not a musician, but he noticed that.
Of course.
Jack told me, you know that most classical musicians, I am not putting them down. It's just an observation. Most classical musicians, they don't know harmony because they are used to trust what those fantastic composers write. So you don't have to it's like having a good cook. When you have a good chef, you don't ask what they put in the food, you know. The only thing you know is that they taste good, and then you drink with a good wine and all that. The same thing with classical people. They trust the wonderful composers that they have. So they don't know, or they know very little about what we call in the jazz world changes, you know, chord changes, or how to play on top of those chord changes. How did you learn to play on the chord changes? Because you came from a classical background, right?
Yeah, well, the first thing I did was like work on the 12-bar blues and just taking the basic guide tones, like the third and the seventh and then following their resolution through the chords. But just to mention something that you were touching on a second ago, it's funny because like in the Baroque era, people did, I mean, other eras too, but in the Baroque era, people really kind of read chords with the figured bass. It was like reading chord changes, like a bass line, and then the notation would tell you what type of chord it would be. Slightly different than how we do it in jazz, but.
El bajo continuo, you call that in Italian or in Spanish, el bajo continuo. It's just the bass and a symbol on top. The B, it was an H. Remember that? And I don't know what it's like the cadenzas. That is something. Improvisations is something that disappeared for a while. Not for a while, for many years from the classical world. That's why many classical players, they read the cadenzas. For example, in the clarinet, some of the greatest cadenzas are written by a guy called Simeon Bellison. I think he was a clarinet player. So when they ask me, do you play in the Weber concerto, one of the Weber concertos, do you play the Simeon Bellison cadenza? Those are the best ever written. Say, no, I play my cadenzas that probably are terrible, and they are not as good as the Simeon Bellison cadenzas, but they are my cadenzas. You know? So the same thing with the improvisation.
Well, I forget where I heard this, so I don't even know if it's true. But anything you hear on the internet's true, so I'll say it anyway. I think I forget if it's Mozart or Beethoven, but one of them was very particular with their composition, so they started writing cadenzas because they didn't want people to. They wanted people to play their cadenzas. I forget who it was, but maybe somewhere around that. I don't even know if that's true, like I said, but spreading misinformation.
Well, actually, I have never seen a cadenza written by Beethoven or Mozart, so probably that's not true. But some composers are very picky, and I don't think that helps the creativity of the interpreter either. I don't think it's a good idea to tell them exactly what you want them to play, because that is impossible. Even with the notation, that is not exactly that is just a guide.
Yeah.
You know, it's like going from New Jersey to the Bronx. You know, I can give you a guide. You know, to make a right here, make a left there, stop it there. But going there is an adventure. You know, what is written there is not what you're going to do. Same thing with music. The written sheet is just a guide. But I think now it's coming back. Now I think it's coming back. I have seen, for example, another pianist that I love, which is Makoto Ozone,
Oh yeah,
the Japanese
incredible.
guy. Wow, it's fantastic pianist, and he plays his own cadenzas all the time because he's a jazz player. No, his first
Well, he's a
instrument. Yeah, he's extraordinary.
he's a genius. When we were in Tokyo was that last summer or 2 summers ago, and he sat in one night at the Blue Note. You guys did your Mozart arrangement, and
Ah,
just the two of you went off. I was like, okay, I don't know how you did that. I mean, have to be
you know
familiar
that
with a lot
that
of
was
Mozart's music, I guess.
that was his idea. To improvise on the entire body. The
Really?
original recording for Irakere was just the melody, just the melody. That's it. And then the cadencia.
Mm-hmm.
But we did a recording when the Japanese people have that tragedy that they have there, the flooding and all that.
Yeah.
Makoto asked me to record something. Gary Burton wasn't recording, and Chick Corea and a bunch of guys, McCoy Tyner. And we played the piece, and then he said, let's improvise on the head. Jesus Christ, I never did that. I said, why not? So I was supposed to play the theme and then improvise on the theme, not on the theme and the cadenza. And we did it, and it's a hard piece. You can talk about that. It looks like it's very simple, but it's very complicated. Very few people, except in my band and Makoto and people like that, they improvise in a credible way on those harmonies of Mozart. What can you tell? Can you elaborate about that? What do you think about that? Why it's so it's complicated? It's hard to include some bebop lines on that.
Yeah,
At least for me.
I think it's the same reason that just playing Mozart and not improvising it is so difficult. Because if you look at Mozart's music, it might seem deceptively simple, but everything that you
It's not.
do is completely naked and exposed, and there's no room for like error. Like if you can't BS with Mozart's music. You have to really play it and get it stylistically right. And if it just, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels very exposed when you play it.
No,
It's
but
very difficult.
but also the harmonic movements.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to. Well, maybe it's very difficult because we are used to a different harmonic structures, and that
Definitely.
break completely. And the approach is more gospel than bebop.
Yeah. Sometimes also the way rhythmically his harmony moves is a little different than how we're used to, I think, in jazz, maybe.
Yeah, in order to do cheaper, no, you have to go more to BB King or something.
That's just Mozart with extra chromaticisms.
Yeah. So it's so much fun to play uh, different styles of music, because you can learn and include in your style and other elements. When you know about classical or Latin music and all that, when you play your bebop style stuff, you can play something really different, and the same way all the way around. Let's talk about that new arrangement of yours, the talking about great pianist. We all admire very much Chick Corea, and I was very impressed by the piece by Chick that you arranged for a sextet that's going to premiere at 5 o'clock. Eye of the Beholder.
Yeah.
What can you say about that?
Well, thank you, first of all. Yeah, it was, I think maybe 3 years ago, we were playing at the jazz festival in Punta del Este, Uruguay. And generally we always, as you know, but if you're listening, we always come up with some kind of a theme for the festival that we play. So that year we decided to do music of Chick Corea, and everyone in the band pretty much arranged a piece. And the great baritone saxophonist Gary Simoleon was joining us. So
I love his playing.
So incredible. And I've always loved that particular song, Eye of the Beholder. It has this kind of mysterious, sad, nostalgic quality to me, but also very rhythmic and grooving at the same time. So
I'm very the shape, la forma, the form of the tune is it's a symphony. If you orchestrate that into a large ensemble, it's a symphony.
Yes.
Wow, incredible.
Just change the rhythm a little bit. Yeah, so and to your point, I did very little with the arrangement because it's so perfect as it is. Essentially, I orchestrated it, and that was pretty much all I had to do. And changed around some of the grooves a little bit. We use this groove I love. It's an Afro-Uruguayan groove called candombe. So that was kind of the influence in parts of the piece.
And you have a fantastic percussionist there in the recording.
We do. The incredible.
Pernell Saturnino, one of the greatest percussionists. What is great about Pernell is not only the what he plays, what he don't play. Pernell knows when to do like that and play nothing. You know? And he's a tasteful player, such a big guy who he's like a bear playing those instruments, and sometimes he's so delicate playing those instruments, and the knowledge of the different styles of music.
He's like a quiet force. He just always is supportive of the music. He always knows how to complement the drummer perfectly without getting in the way or overpowering it. Yeah. One of my favorites.
Mark Walker loved him.
Yeah, me too.
Because working with him is such it's fantastic. It's like being in a crowd like that. And Mark is such a fantastic drummer that in order to play with the percussion, it had to be a good one. If not, you are in the middle of something very special.
Well, I heard about Pernell years ago because when I was about 16 years old, I got to go perform in Curacao, and I became very good friends with a percussionist from there named Vernon Chatelain, who's a few years older than me. But Pernell was really his mentor. And so he was always telling me all this, you have to check out this percussionist Pernell. So then I was so excited when I finally got to play with him with your band many years later. Well, 3 years later, I guess.
He's very special. I think I knew about him through Oscar. Oscar found all these guys. So he said, I know a guy. He can play that very well. Because, Oscar knew how allergic am I to percussionists and drummers that play too loud, too many notes, or they are all in the middle of everything and they don't let me play. But I said, no, I found when I saw Pernell, I said, wow, but he's too big, man. you think that guy can be delicate? I don't think so. I said, oh yeah, he can be very delicate, and very strong at the same time.
Yes,
Pernell is very, very special, and he's a sweetheart too.
He really is.
It will help. And talking about great pianist, I think our friend Juanito Ruiz has around a recording that we did of a wonderful composition by this great pianist and composer from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, Argentina, called Carlos Franzetti. Juanito, can you play for us Serenata? This piece is like a compendium of different styles of music in Latin America. The Cuban danza, the Brazilian chorinho, and all those pieces. Let's hear Carlos Franzetti, Serenata. yo puedo parar cuando yo quiera.
All right.
All right. Well, that was a problem at the end. Can you hear me there?
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah, very good. Well, it's a pity that we didn't play the end of the thing, but that was so much fun. The piece is, as I said before, it's like a compendium of different styles of music: the Puerto Rican danza, the Cuban contra danza, the chorinho from Brazil, and some type of fast milonga from Argentina. Carlos put together all those. I think he did it very naturally. It reminds me a little bit of Michel Camilo in another way. Once I say that Michel Camilo should be provided with the island for himself, because he created a special type of music that had nothing to do with nothing. He created a style of music which is a compendium also of the different style of Latin American intro. He, of course, he got something from the Cuban music and of course something from his from the music of the Dominican Republic, where he's from. But he spent sometimes also playing the onda nueva, which is the modern music of the 60s and 70s in Venezuela with Aldemano Romero. When he put all that stuff together, he created an entire new style of music. And it's the music of Latin America mixed with jazz music is such a fantastic source of elements, to play with, to play around, and you do it magnificently.
Well, thank you.
I can say that's why you have been with us for 13 years, and I hope for many years to come.
I hope so too.
So you have to announce something, for the premiere of your wonderful arrangement of Eye of the Beholder.
Yes. So
maybe you can talk about the people who play in the recording.
Yeah. So it's Paquito's sextet. So Paquito on alto sax, Diego Arcola, who usually plays trumpet and valve trombone in the band, decided to do this on euphonium. Once again, Gary Smolian is joining us like he did at the original performance. And then longtime members of the band, Oscar Stagnaro on bass, Mark Walker on drums, Pernell Saturnino on percussion. And we all recorded our parts remotely since, due to the whole COVID quarantine situation. So we sent our parts around to each other, everyone at their home studio or whatever they were dealing with on their phone, whatever they had to work with. And then I've been busy mixing and putting together the video. So that was really a lot of fun, and I've been learning a lot about it. I've been having a good time learning, getting better at Pro Tools and all that kind of stuff too. So
very good. I think this is the beginning of more work to do, more music to you know that music is such a wonderful tool, you know, to fix your soul. In
It
this moment
is.
that I see depressive, no gigs,
Yeah.
I have never feel nostalgic for the world like in these days.
Yeah.
Not only by so it is an old say that says, home sweet home. I discovered that my home is this entire planet. So I miss Spain, and I
Yeah.
miss Washington, and I miss Miami, and I don't know, Germany, where because we are lucky enough to make a living out of traveling around the world. I remember once I heard Yo-Yo Ma saying, "You know what is my favorite activity? It's not playing the cello. It's meeting people."
Mm.
Isn't that great? The opportunity that we have to meet not only artists, but the people that come to see us playing, the musicians that come to see us. You know, in Spain, for example, when I go, my very dear friend Boyo Martinez he's always around there, ready to lend me a saxophone. And in Germany we have more people, and in Switzerland we have uh, the wonderful Jacques Muyel. And but well, I hope that very soon that will come back to us and we'll be able to do our favorite activity, meeting people.
I
So
hope so too.
enjoy the music, and thank you for to listen to what we have to say. Thank you for trying to understand my English, and next time it will be better. Thank you, Alex, to come to join us and how to play more music.
Thanks
with
so
you.
much for having me, and such fun as always talking with you, and hope we get to play together live again soon. Well, we will actually next week in New Jersey.
Oh, of course, yeah. I almost
Me
forgot
too.
that's going to be my first gig.
Me too.
My
I haven't
yeah.
played a real gig for people since March.
Yeah. We don't know what the hell are we going to be playing, but we have to talk about that. We can play Serenata, for example.
Yeah.
Now we have the first one. So we are going to have there the wonderful Jorge Glenn on the cuatro, and Edmar Castañeda. You and I think it's going to be fun.
I'll bring my mask.
Yeah, me too. Especially when they play the clarinet.
Yeah. Stay away.
All right.
All right. I'll see you soon.
Everybody.
Take care.